All right, tweets out, and here we go. And welcome back to episode 3 of Police Box Paradox. I am your host, Wes, here with the other host, Michael. That's where you say something.
Well, you fussed at me. You fussed at me last time I said, okay. Hi.
That's Michael. Michael has a wonderful website, geekasms.com. It has a lot of great information on everything geeky in nature, if you can't tell from the name, but tons of Doctor Who information, which you can get directly to by going to geekasms.com/Doctor Who, or if you go to the front main page, geekasms.com, it's probably going to pop up. Wonderful podcast from the site as well. I also host a podcast on the TPH podcast network called Those People and Him with 2 other friends, and we'd like you to check out those, but we're happy you're checking out this one. This is, I guess we're going with an American fanboy view of the BBC classic Doctor Who. We've had great response so far. We're glad with everybody that's been coming on board. Just so you all know, since we are kind of starting out, we try to go spoiler free. Basically anything that happened up to this episode in the Doctor Who universe and the preview for next week is fair game. Everything else we'll try to avoid, or at least give you a big warning if we have to go into something. This episode is about dinosaurs on a spaceship, because that episode just aired. I will be totally honest, it aired Saturday. I watched it Saturday. I've been completely busy and caused us to be delayed in recording, and I may forget some things at this point.
That's what happens when American fanboys try to do this. We also had the NFL start, so it's not. We can't help it.
You can't have football coincide with anything else. It just doesn't work. Excuse me. We talk about football and I get choked up. That's how.
I was about to say, if you want to cough for a minute, do you want me to tell them about the quote-unquote sponsor for this?
Yes, episode? Please. Absolutely. We have a sponsor. Right. It's amazing.
Yes, we do.
2 episodes, and then the third one, sponsored.
That's right. This episode is brought to you by, or sponsored by, or however you want to look at it, by geekycookies.com. That is GeekyCookies.com. And if you go right now, they've just brought up, within like the last week, 2 weeks, they have new, funny enough that I'm mentioning them, they have new Doctor Who related cookies. Oh, nice tardis and Daleks and everything else, and plus a lot of other. It's a cool site to go look for, because if you've ever thought, I'd like to have a cookie like that, there you go.
The tardis cookies are nice,
aren't they?
Yeah,
I actually like the Dalek where he's got. Yeah, but for listeners of, well, we'll give them credit for all 3 of our podcasts, this one and mine and Wes's. If you go to the geekycookies.com, type in the coupon code GEEKASMS with an S at the end, GEEKASMS, you'll get 10% off your entire order from geekycookies.com.
I know that seems like a commercial, but if you all would just stop what you're doing and go look up this website,
you can't help it, can you?
Yeah, you needed to be here anyway. This has nothing to do with us. I don't care if you put in our code or not. It'll just get you money off. Holy cow! I want these cookies. This person's genius. They're like, yes. I'm gonna take Doctor Who and cookies, and they got Mario stuff.
Yes, they've got Batman. They've got
Everybody needs to get on board with geekycookies.com. That's all I'm saying. Come on, for real. Look at this. Look at they got a Firefly. They got
Yes.
So dinosaurs.
Back to the episode.
They're on a spaceship. Now,
yes.
I will fully admit. Now, I'm not one for spoilers. You like to have all the spoilers, and you spoil your life with the spoilers. I stay away from most everything, but I do look at things like episode descriptions and episode titles. So when we got this episode title in advance, I had 2 completely different feelings. I had this just level of excitement of the epicness.
Sounds like a 3rd grader's idea.
Yeah, like someone said, "What do you want to do?" I want to take and put dinosaurs on a spaceship, and that's amazing. But then I always get nervous, because I think I still have that season 1 Christopher Eccleston in me, where I'm like, oh crap, these better look good, because if they don't put some money in it, this is going to be awful. And
yes.
I thought that was the one thing I want to point out before this gets going. I thought they did a tremendous job with the CGI for this.
Yes, I was impressed. And I'm like you. I was worried about it, but
Yeah,
I was impressed. I was impressed with how they looked.
yeah, it looked, the Triceratops in particular looks really, really well done. Like the pterodactyls and stuff you see so much of, but not a ton. It's more of an off-camera thing than anything. But I was really, really happy with what they did there. Now, from an overall standpoint, I'm going to go ahead and say that it's not my favorite episode. It feels a little bit of a letdown simply because of how grand a gesture the opening episode was. When you open up, regardless of if we had no idea who Oswin was as far as the actress and things like that,
yes,
just that story by itself was powerful, and
yes.
I was super impressed and happy with it. And it feels like with this episode they thought, let's give them something a little more lighthearted before we get back to the serious stuff, because it gets. We know that we're going to start going down some darker paths.
We're on a countdown.
Yeah, and which, funny enough, the 4th episode is all about a countdown. So this, let me get to my bad first. The things that I didn't like, I liked the 2 robots. I thought they were hilarious. But,
yes, those are apparently like British comedians.
So we don't know about. Other people think they're amazing.
No.
Here's my problem. I thought, and look, I'm a sophomore humor guy. I laugh at fart jokes. I'm not so high and above everything else, but for some reason, like the Triceratops sniffing the balls joke, that seemed out of place to me on Doctor Who.
It was. Even the Doctor kind of had to look like, is this really here? I mean, it was forced.
It felt like they were crowbarring that stuff in. There's another one, but I forgot to make a note of it.
Are you talking about the hunter? I've gone blank on his name, but the guy from Sherlock talking about a big gun or big weapon or something.
Like we don't need that in Doctor Who. This is the place we don't need it. But overall, I was happy with a lot of things in the episode. I was happy to meet Rory's dad, and we were talking earlier. It feels like the episode's main goal in life was to say, here's Rory's dad. This is going to come back at some point.
He does come back. I think he comes back on the 4th episode.
Okay. That's what I was wondering, because I had not seen or heard, like on the casting, if he would be back at some point. Which kind of brings me to another thing. I don't necessarily think this is a negative. At first, when the episode started, I did not like it, and then there was a statement made that made me really appreciate what was happening. Usually when we have a companion, the companion is with us.
Yes.
In this season, the companions aren't with us. We keep getting them and then taking and dropping them off. Then time passes, and then we go and pick them up again. Between episode 1 and 2, 10 months had passed in Amy and Rory's world. And I kept thinking, as that was happening, I mean, it was enough to where while I'm watching the episode, I'm thinking, why is this happening? This is stupid. They need to just go. You don't have an adventure and leave and come back. But then Amy makes the statement, are you weaning us off? You?
Yes.
And immediately I thought, that's exactly what he's doing. Even though he said no, but we know rule number 1, the Doctor lies.
Yes. See, that was one of the good things I was going to ask you here in a little bit. One thing I was going to point out, well, I'll point this out first because I was reading and I have not checked the accuracy, but Rory said he was 31 to his dad during the I don't have a Christmas list when the Doctor yelled out, I do, which I did enjoy.
Yeah, that was a good one. I love it. That's Doctor Who.
But, yes.
Doctor Who.
But someone online pointed out that means that 10 years have passed for Rory and Amy since the 11th hour. Now, is that right?
So he was 21 in the 11th hour?
Is that...
or
when they got married. I mean, somewhere around there.
To another question. In the 11th hour, which we again have decided we have to go back and see and deal with because there's some type of tie-in to that to the Hans leaving.
Yeah.
I've always had a major issue with the ID tag from the 11th hour.
where it shows the wrong. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not going to say it shows the wrong date. It shows a very confusing date.
Yes, and that's chalked up to a production error.
I don't believe that. I don't believe in
either.
Stephen Moffat's world that that's true.
There's a production error there. Well, okay, I'll put it this way: either it's a production error, or it's giving us a hint to something else.
That's what I think.
Well, no, in Dinosaurs on a Spaceship.
Oh,
the postcard at the very end showing the TARDIS on the new planet Silurian or whatever they named it. That's not Matt Smith's TARDIS. That's David Tennant's. It doesn't have the circular hospital badge on the other door.
You just blew my mind. I know it's a podcast. I'm supposed to be talking, but you just blew my.
Now, can you think that Moffat would let such a distinct... No. The fact that I'm sure he had a hand in redesigning this TARDIS, giving it distinct aspects, and they leave out one of the main distinct aspects that separates Matt Smith's from David Tennant's TARDIS.
People may not realize this, but in... what was the name of Tennant's the two-parter?
End of Time? Yeah.
Okay. That was a Russell T. Davies two-part movie. However, Moffat came in and directed the regeneration and Matt Smith because he was taking over. He came in and actually directed that part of the thing. You're telling me that this man, who is meticulous, I want you to think about this because people think I'm crazy. River Song, Melody Pond.
Yes.
That's not coincidence. They weren't sitting in a room and he goes, we'll name the baby Melody Pond and we'll make it River Song. I'm telling you. This
now,
man
see,
is on
that even goes
level.
back to the Weeping Angels two-part episode, Matt Smith's first season.
Right.
Where he comes in, they're on that spaceship, and he comes in, tells Amy, remember me, trust me and everything else. People went off because he was still wearing his jacket in that shot. You saw it in his arm, but the Angels had already ripped it off. People were like screaming, "Nah, they messed up!" And then you find out at the end of that season, no, they didn't mess up. That was pure. That shows how far in advance that man thinks.
Well, that's why I know. I forget what I was watching on, but in End of Time. I think it's End of Time. There is a production error, and Moffat has acknowledged it as a production error, where there's a different coat. Like when David Tennant walks in, he throws the coat down, and it's a different coat than he should have at that moment because of the way it was edited. And people who work with Moffat said they are shocked at this point that he's not written somewhere into a script
to give it a purpose,
an explanation, because he does not like to leave things hanging out like that. That's how smart this man is. So I don't believe that the name tag in 11th Hour is wrong. I think it was done for a reason, because not only would it be a production error, it's zoomed in on. Like, it's not something laying on a desk in the back of the room.
No.
It's front and center.
And they pause on it just long enough to where either you can see it or you can do a screen grab and see it clearly.
And if anybody's not seen it, go look. It's
actually, I've got a screenshot on it on the site. So
geekasms.com/Doctor Who. It's not a mistake. And now that you've told me this about the TARDIS, I need to go back and watch this episode again. I usually watch them 2 or 3 times anyway. I want to see that's the different TARDIS. Now, I don't know. There's a lot of things going on here. There's a lot of things going on.
I thought you'd like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I got something else to blow your mind with in a little bit.
I believe, to circle back, I believe that the Doctor is weaning the pawns off because he.
Do you think he knows?
I think he does. I think whatever's coming, he knows is coming, and he's trying to find a way to avoid it without. Like, it's one of those things where it's probably a fixed point in time. It's probably some type of paradox that he knows if he just comes out and says, "Hey, you're going to die if this happens." He knows it'll implode the universe, so he's trying to figure out a way to keep it from happening by doing it a certain way. And I think, I'm not 100% sure bringing Rory's dad was a mistake. I think he may have tried to do that. The Doctor works in mysterious ways to where he will. He has no plan that is a perfect plan.
Get this. he knew who Brian was, right? He knew Rory's dad.
Right.
Rory's dad didn't know him. Shouldn't he have been at Rory's wedding?
Seriously, it's a podcast, so you have to say things that don't blow me away to keep me quiet.
Oh, I'm still saving one.
Oh.
And actually, that one just that's not on my notes. That one just kind of
because the TARDIS materializes at the wedding after we've reset the universe.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Yeah, and don't you think Rory's dad kind of just accepted the whole? You know, when we traveled after our wedding, Thailand. No, we traveled in that box, and it was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like, well, that makes more sense now. Okay, let's go.
It does make more sense.
Let me throw a golf ball and play fetch with a Triceratops. Come on.
But here's the thing. He's Rory's dad. So you know he has to have a little bit of... Like, Rory has to have some of him in him. And Rory just goes along with everything immediately. So maybe that's there. I don't know. Maybe the Ponds are adventurers, but he did say that he doesn't travel. He doesn't, like any of that. And then, of course, at the end of the episode, he's apparently traveling everywhere all the time.
Everywhere. Yes.
Because the Doctor does like to grab the old men. He likes to hang out with the old guys that don't really have anything going on.
He needs to pick up Rory's dad, Wilf, and just go somewhere.
Yeah, just go do... Oh,
just go hang out.
Wilf makes me cry.
I know.
I'll cry if I think about that. Wilf. Oh, Wilf. So, yeah, I think the Doctor knows what's happening. Maybe not 100%, but he knows something's coming. He knows...
Yeah, because there's at least 2 points in that episode where he has this look to him that's like... There's the obvious one, and then there's that one of that last shots where he's standing behind Amy and Rory, and he's just kind of... He looks back and forth between them as they're looking down at Rory's dad, just sitting outside the TARDIS. It's almost like...
It's a
what am I going to do?
Look, like a I'm sorry this has to happen to you kind of look.
Yeah,
and it's the Ponds. Look. We're gonna have to wait when we do episode 5. I'll cry, and I don't want to cry on YouTube and Google and podcasts because I love.
Wow, that might. Okay, if anybody wants to watch Wes cry, emails.
Really. There's a faction of people out there like, yes, let's suckle off the pain of Wes.
Okay, if not you, I know there is for me.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we have, while Oswald wouldn't be considered necessarily a companion in the last episode, we have 2 more companions in this episode.
Yes, he has a group now.
Yeah, he says he has a gang. I've never had a gang.
Yes.
One was the hunter that I don't remember his name either.
I can't think of his name either.
I'm not really sure what purpose he held. He was there. They needed action off screen while they separated. Because I do think
they needed the hunter for the dinosaur. Now,
kind of.
Did you want him to do the whole Jurassic Park line of she's a smart one or something like that?
No, I wanted to stay away from as much Jurassic Park as we could. But to me, having the hunter shows even more the reason why the episode was about Rory's dad and their relationship, because he's going to play into this at some point. Because you needed to separate them off so that they could be alone and have that bond that we believe in.
The whole nursing thing. I mean, that's the first time we've heard about Rory's nursing since the first few episodes.
The first few episodes of his series. So the hunter guy, I wish I remember his name. I'm not really concerned if he's coming back or not coming back. Nefertiti, on the other hand, is a little more interesting. I like when we pull legitimate historical characters and get them involved. Like I don't remember who it is now.
Oh, here's another thing that'll blow your mind. I'll let you finish then.
Go ahead. You get it. Go ahead. Let's
I'm
for a while now again.
Okay, back behind the scenes thing. I was at your house, and I gave you a hint that there was something historically accurate about Nefertiti.
Right.
Right. History record, I mean, the episode ends showing her with the African hunter.
Right.
And she disappears from the history books.
Really?
Yes. You can look her up right now, and she just disappears.
That's what I like.
Like, after her husband died, a little bit later, she just disappears from all Egyptian records and everything else.
That's what I love about Doctor Who. I forget the stupid name of the writer, but the Wasp episode.
Yes.
What's her name?
Agatha Christie.
Yeah, she really disappeared for like 11 days or 8 days or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And Doctor Who explains exactly why that happened.
Yeah.
Let me tell you one that we've not had yet, and I think it's because it was an American historical figure maybe, and they've not got to it. The
I
doctor.
mean, they even gave reference to Nixon's missing minutes of tape. I mean, they find stuff and do it.
I need them to do Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart's in the news a lot now. I want them to explain that away. I want her to be the companion for half a season. Yeah. She's adventurous. I
think they might, since they think they found it, they don't think they found it. I think there might be holding off. I bet she's on a dry erase board somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I love when they take real history and work it into Who. It's so good. It's so good.
Now, going back to Rory and his dad, the other side of that, did you not get a feel that they were almost putting Amy in the doctor's spot because she referred to the Hunter and Nefertiti as her companions?
Yes.
And she was doing she was the doctor. It was almost like two groups.
Here's what I like about Amy and why she became my favorite companion. I was a big Rose guy. I've always loved Rose, but I think that's just because of the emotional value between her and Eccleston, and then Tennant and her. Amy is the strongest of the bunch. Donna was strong too. People didn't like her because she wasn't super attractive. I think they wanted to look at a hot girl, and Donna was a solid companion. She doesn't get the credit she deserves. And while she was strong, she was more argumentative than leading. Whereas Amy, especially this season so far, has become a leader of sorts. She can handle these things, and I won't be shocked if that leads to where her demise comes from, because maybe she feels she can handle something she shouldn't.
She takes the lead on something, and
she takes too much on.
Because what she did, I mean, working the computer, asking the right questions, and even popping up and saying to the Hunter guy, "Well, that's a good question," and then that was the doctor. That was
it was pure doctor. The second she started messing around with the computer, and then I forget how the line went, but it was like, "Second, do more things." I mean, it was just like she was like, "I can do random things, and it'll all work out because I'm with the doctor."
Exactly.
She had that role, and it. Yeah, this is going to be hard. We have 3 more episodes, right? Until our big break.
Yes.
So we've got Mercy. We'll talk about the Mercy Town or whatever when we get done. Then we've got the next one, which is the Countdown episode. And then we've got the Weeping Angel episode. Then we break until the Christmas episode. I love the Christmas episode. And I'm excited because that means we'll do a Christmas episode of this show. Because here's the thing. My family's weird. And here's when I was a kid, and we would go to my grandmother's for Christmas because that's where everyone would have Christmas Day. The tradition for my cousin and I, who's a few years younger than me, is we would sit and watch Star Wars. I think it was the USA Network, but I may be wrong. We'd play episodes 4, 5, and 6, and we would just sit and watch them all day long. Now that my children are old enough to kind of not be beyond the presents, but at least want to do some more things with their day, now it's just we're going to watch all the Doctor Who Christmas specials. I love that. It makes me happy.
I will admit there was a tinge of jealousy when we walked up the stairs in your house yesterday, and we turn into your room there, and there's your wife, and there's your kids, and they're all staring.
Yeah, they're watching.
They're watching the last 5 minutes of
my brother that episode. And I watched it the Saturday night, and they weren't home because they were Peyton had friends over, and the kids were doing a lot of crazy stuff. They were watching on their own. There was no me doing it.
No.
I'm telling you, last Christmas,
she checked with you first. Is like, have you watched it? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go watch it. I mean, it
hit me last Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve, right? Yeah. What are you excited about when you're a 9-year-old kid on Christmas Eve? Presents.
Yeah.
These kids were so they were like, "Oh, we're going to open presents tomorrow." And I was like, "And Doctor Who Christmas special." That's all I heard about the rest of the night. It had they were like, "I don't care about presents. We're watching Doctor Who." I am blessed. I got a whole family that are Who'd up. We're
and if you think it was bad last year, you're bringing up the new companion. It's going to be all right. Since you've brought up Christmas,
okay,
you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. First episode. They're in the middle of the Dalek Citadel and everything else.
Right.
Doctor yells out, "It's Christmas!" He's here and everything else.
Right.
Then this episode, we had the Christmas list line. I have a Christmas list. Now in the trailers, we've already seen the Doctor say, "Who's been looking at my Christmas list?" in reference to the upcoming episode
Mercy
So
Time.
Christmas has been mentioned in 3 episodes in a row.
Moffat is a genius, and you, sir, should be a research assistant for a cancer curing agency or something, as opposed to spending it on Doctor Who, because you notice more detail. That is phenomenal. Moffat doesn't do those things. He doesn't make those small.
He's
those things don't happen.
he's keeping the Christmas special in the back of your head, whether you
it's-
know it or not.
It's coming. Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to go over on this episode, because this episode's good. We talked about the robots. They were funny. They were cute. I liked them as offset comedy. You pointed out the Harry Potter
As a Harry Potter
reunion, because the one guy was the janitor, the villain was the janitor, and the Rory's dad was the kid.
That Weasley.
Yeah, the Weasley father. So
yeah.
that was cool to have those in there. The villain was kind of an afterthought in this episode for me. It seemed like the interaction between our heroes was more important than the villain. But I do want to point out something, and then I want to rebut it, because we had talked about it before. My wife brought it up last night as soon as we came upstairs, that the Doctor killed a villain.
Yes.
But I don't believe he did. The man's dead, don't get me wrong.
He just left him in the
He
situation.
let him go.
It's
It's a Batman moment of you won't kill me, but I don't have to save you either. That's what it was.
I mean, he was a lot more harsher in Family of Blood or whatever that one is, where
Yes. Yes.
he was a lot crueler there.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the Captain Runaway or Colonel Runaway, that's the darkest we've ever seen him.
Yeah.
But he still didn't kill anything. I don't want the Doctor to lose that. I know that we all want to see Batman just rip someone's head completely off and throw their spine in the trash can, but that humanity is what makes the character. And somewhat that's what does the same with the Doctor. His innocence and childlike quality is what I think we all fall in love with. That just he's like it's like you take a little kid and turn them loose into anything, and they've never seen it before, and they might see a paperclip, but they're so excited because it's something they've never seen before.
yeah.
That's the Doctor in everyday life. He's a soda can. He's so happy because it's new to him, and that's the beauty of it. That's the inner child, and he makes us all feel like a child, and that's why we love him. That's why I love him. I think now there is the ship, and I don't want to get too spoilery here. The ship was originally flown and operated by Silurians.
Yes.
Which Silurians obviously had their own episode. Which I
I was staying away from this because it was hard for me to not be
you got to be
spoilery.
careful.
I'm not going to talk.
What's the chick that was in Good Man Goes to War? Madame
Bastra.
Bastra? Okay.
Or something like that.
One, I had to do some research on her because I was upset because I really do not remember her ever being on the show. And she wasn't. That was her very first appearance ever.
Yeah.
She wasn't in the Silurian
I don't know
group we
if
awoke before.
Was the actress not the same one that played the ones in the...
Now that I don't know, but Madame Bastra was awoken. She was buried under London and was awoken in the 1800s, and she got all rampagey. What's crazy is when you go to her wiki, she has all this backstory that I don't know where it came from, but it's all there. Like the Doctor found her and convinced her not to go killing random people, and then she got paired up with her girl, and they doing their thing, and then she's working as a consultant for the police and all that.
I might need to put my mic on mute.
They also a lot of people want them to have their own spinoff, which I thought was crazy, but I would watch that because I dig her as a character. Anyway, we have this. She's a Silurian. We have Silurians had this ship. It appears to me because of that we are going towards some more Silurian involvement. Would you feel that way?
Yes.
Okay, you're not. Okay, yeah, we'll just keep it moving because I think I've touched on something, and we don't want to hurt people's feelings. Okay, let's do. Let's look at what's next episode? A Town Called Mercy. Is that the name of it?
Yep.
Again, we're not going spoilery, but looking at the preview for the episode and the series trailer that came out before, it looks like it's just going to be a Wild West shoot 'em up type of episode.
Yep.
But we also have, this is the episode with Amy's line that really, really is poignant, and I think is going to be a big focus
big deal.
on this.
And I think that
series.
suggests that it's been longer than 10 months between
Right.
this episode and the next one. Yeah.
That's what I think so too. The line of "This is why you need a companion," or "This is why you can't travel alone." I forget how it's phrased,
something like that. Yeah.
but
yeah.
it's very, which we've always known. The Doctor can't travel alone. He just shouldn't.
He gets colder. Yeah.
And thankfully, when we've seen him, like on the Titanic episode, he didn't have a companion, but he at least companioned up in the episode, which
Yeah.
made me sad. I thought Kylie Minogue could have been a good companion for a season,
Yeah.
and I wish we'd had that. But I'm okay either way. I'm looking forward to this episode. I'm a Wild West kind of guy. I like that concept. I loved when he showed up in America and put on a Stetson. That just
Yeah.
I thought because Stetsons are cool, except when I wear one because my big watermelon head just won't let it work right.
I'm the same.
So I'm looking forward to this episode. I like the concept. I think it's going to be an interesting episode to see them grow. I also think the bad guy looks kind of cool. He's got the crazy eyeball.
Yeah.
Something in the original trailer for all the series of these 5 episodes, it seemed like it made me feel Daleks were in this episode, but I don't think they are now. I think that maybe I just got some clips crossed over, so I think it's going to kind of be all into itself. It doesn't look like Rory's father's in this episode, which is good.
No.
It looks like
I'm being careful because I have a theory going on with Amy and them that I think this episode will further prove. So I'm having
theory,
to be
or is it based off spoiler, or just on
no
theory?
total theory.
Well, we can go theory.
Oh,
Theory's
okay.
not a spoiler.
Now this is
Yeah,
going.
theory's
This
just
we're
total
going.
craziness.
We're going towards when that episode 5.
Right.
I think just because of they've been building up the whole he needs somebody and everything else, I really think there's going to be some sort of line by Amy that pushes. She knows it's over for her and everything else. I think there's a line. She has a line that pushes him to convince him to go get another companion to travel with him. I've just got a feeling they're just building up because she's telling him stuff.
Yeah.
Now, okay, yes, this is a big theory. I've got a theory on a line,
Right.
but I think
It's
that's going to
one
be.
line.
I think it's going to be a driving factor for him picking who he picks in terms of a companion, based on Amy telling him to. I think there's going to be a correlation between the two. Could be wrong.
No, yeah, you could be, but you could not be. It's
I'm about 50. I'm about 50-50 on my guessing.
probably better than most, actually. You noticed the Christmas stuff. Have you done a blog about that? You need a blog about that.
No, I've
Tag
not
this episode
gotten-
in the bottom
I've
of it
not-
so people will check it out. Man, okay. Well, I see you say things and it makes me be quiet. It's supposed to be interactive, but you come up with concepts that make me have to sit
Yes,
and
but
think.
this is also why we decided to do this.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Do you got anything else on this episode or future episodes? We don't really have any email this week, or I would throw some on there.
No, did you notice I think it is 1 or 2 references to 2001 Space Odyssey?
I didn't.
Now, I saw
I'm
these.
not a
I
big
didn't.
2001.
I'm not either. I caught them, and then I went back and looked. One, when he materializes on the ship and shocks the 2 robots, they go down singing Daisy, Daisy, which
They
is
do
apparently how, and then apparently at the very beginning when they're transported to the beach, which, yes, there was a spaceship with a beach.
I like that, though.
Yeah. When Rory's dad is going off and calls him whatever author or whatever, that's apparently, I think that was the author to 2001 A Space Odyssey. I'm not 100% sure, so
I
maybe
think
we'll
should be in a spaceship. That's just me,
yeah,
though.
maybe
It's got
we'll get an
dinosaurs.
email. Maybe I should purposely start saying wrong things, hoping to get flamed.
Let me tell you what I've learned about the internet. If they don't like it, they'll complain, and if you get something wrong, they like to point it out. Other than that, a lot of times it's hard to get people flowing back and forth.
Hey, we'd get an email.
Yeah, have we been approved for the Doctor Who podcast alliance yet? I know we submitted that.
Did you submit it?
I didn't. I thought you did.
Oh, I thought you did. I'll do it tonight.
I got an email saying we'd been submitted.
Oh, we did?
I swear I did. Maybe I'm crazy. I could be crazy.
I don't know. If not, we will be in a day or so. I'll make sure of
Awesome.
that.
Well, this is episode 3 of Police Box Paradox. That's Michael. I'm Wes. You can check out the podcast on Twitter at Police BX Paradox. That's at Police BX Paradox. You can go to geekasms.com/Doctor Who. You can just go to geekasms.com. You're going to find Doctor Who stuff anyway. You can check out the TPH Podcast Network. We got a lot of geeky content. If you like Doctor Who, you're going to like a lot of shows we got. Go to www.tphpod.net. And listen to them again. I do Those People and Him podcast with a couple other guys. Michael does Geekasms with whoever shows up, and
whoever I get,
whoever jumps online that night, and they just run through everything. And we got a lot of we got comic book podcasts that get done sometimes, rarely, but sometimes.
You know what? If anybody wants to hear something Doctor Who related, I'll be happy to do it on Comic Book Academy. I don't care.
Oh, that's what I would love to do, a Comic Book Academy on Doctor Who. That's what we need to do. We'll sit down. I just hate spoiling it for people because to me it's a little different than like finding out who Thanos is. But anyway, we're going off on a tangent. Those are the websites. Check us out. If you got questions, please email us, tardis@tphpod.net. We'll be glad to answer any and all questions because right now we got none, and we'd appreciate it if you'd holler back at us. If you like what we're doing, if you don't, let us know. If you like what we're doing, we'd appreciate it if you go to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and review. Those things all help us a whole lot.
Please.
So until next time, keep calm and keep regenerating.